of the most interesting and charming parts of Japan are the many thousands of Shinto shrines. Some of them are huge, almost like temples. And some are very small. Some are even within houses. You can find them everywhere. Right in the middle of a city. You could find them right in the middle of Tokyo. You'll find them out in isolated places, in the wilderness, in the forests, in the mountains, on the seashore, in a lake. I've seen them household shrines, small little household shrines, and I even saw one on the bridge of the Hakawa Maru, the 1930s steamship that used to travel between Yokohama and Seattle. Oh, that's nice. Shinto is not exactly a religion. Some people say it's a religion, but it's more like a practice. There are no central authorities. There's no Bible or Quran. There's no problem with practicing Shinto along with other religions. For example, Buddhism. When Buddhism came to Japan, there was no problem moving Shinto right in with it. And sometimes you'll see Shinto shrines within Buddhist temples or on the grounds of Buddhist temples. It is devoted to the worship of kami, K-A-M-I. Sometimes kami is translated as gods, but that's not quite what they are. More like spirits. And kami can be in many things. In fact, there's an expression they have, 8 million kami. Well, that's only to say that there are even more millions, because almost everything has kami. For example, there could be a kami of a tree. That does not mean the spirit lives in the tree entirely. It does, but it's also that the kami is the tree, and the tree is the kami. They're intertwined. Sometimes a kami will be part of something, and sometimes the thing itself is a kami. For example, there may be a kami in the waterfall, but the waterfall itself may be a kami. We know this word kami in the West, and in the East too, of course, because we know it from another word, kamikaze. That was the pilots in World War II, the suicide pilots, the last-ditch effort of the Empire of Japan. But they got their name from the kamikaze of the 13th century, which were, kamikaze means divine wind, or spirits of the wind. And the kamikaze at that time referred to 2 typhoons that swept across the Sea of Japan and wiped out the armada of Kublai Khan as he came to invade Japan. So, the divine wind saved Japan, and they hoped the kamikaze would save Japan again in the 1940s, but no, that didn't work that time. Can be kami of everything you see here. Every tree, every blade of grass, maybe even every leaf can have a kami. Usually kamis are known to be within a specific tree or element that inspires awe. I heard about the effort to expand a train station, and unfortunately it was going to mean cutting down a specific tree that the locals protested because there was a kami in that tree. Rather than just knock it down, they built a station around it. Not only do kami reside in objects that provoke awe, Kami also require respect and even purification. So there are little rituals whenever you visit a Shinto shrine. I'm going to talk about Shinto shrines, but that's going to be in another video because this is just too big a subject. Kami are not omnipotent. They are not godlike creatures. They can even make mistakes. And they say Shinto is a essentially optimistic practice because it views all human beings as good, and those that are not have been influenced by an evil Kami. So yeah, there are evil Kami too. In Ireland, they have these fairy forts, they're called. They're places that traditionally where the fae lived, the fairy, and you don't want to fool around with those. And not too long ago, they were going to do a construction site, and I'm not sure if I have this exactly, but it looked to me that all the workers there who were going to destroy the fairy fort were guest workers, immigrants who did not grow up in Ireland, because I think the Irish people were like, and I'd be like that, no. So the concept of Kami has traveled past Japan into other areas. I remember reading once about a samurai, very powerful warrior, and this is before I knew anything about Shinto. And someone showed up to pay tribute to this samurai, and they brought him a gift. And the gift was a rock. I thought, but that samurai warrior responded to the Kami of the stone, and he placed that stone in his garden, where he could gaze at it and contemplate it in all days, all weathers, in moonlight, in sunlight, or in rain. For stones do have a Kami. I wonder if Fuji itself, Fuji certainly has Kami, but I wonder if Fuji is a Kami. What I love about Shinto is the mindfulness of it. Nature worship, nature reverence. And isn't it needed in this day and age? We've so wrapped up in politics, current events, passing scene. And some people spend their days enveloped in rage. Whereas, come out into the woods. Go to a waterfall, go to a mountain, go to the seaside, go to the Kami of the waves, go to the Kami of the ocean, and just gaze upon them with respect and reverence. Now, you have seen Kami. You may not think you have, or you may know, I don't believe in that sort of thing. Sure, I get that, but just think back to a sunset, or a specific tree, or a mountain, or a landscape. You can have a Kami of a landscape. You can have a Kami of a thunderclap. It's so complicated, but it's also so simple. So think back to how you responded to that awe-inspiring moment, that awe-inspiring object. You were responding to the spirit of that object, the Kami. And so next time you're outside, and it can even be in a city, by the way. There are Shinto shrines all through cities in Japan. But just go up to a tree, go up to a rock, to a waterfall, to the beach, listen to the thunder, listen to the rain, and be mindful. Be mindful of its kami nature. And as you become more and more mindful of its nature, you become more and more respectful of its nature. This is a good thing to do, to approach the kami, to approach nature in a respectful way, in a loving way. Be a tree hugger. I don't know why that's such a bad thing to be a tree hugger. But you also want to approach with a little touch of fear, because you don't want to cross the kami. But if you do approach the kami with respect, with awe, and purity of heart, the kami will reward you.